Again, Rana Gupta, Senior Portfolio Manager, India Equity Specialist at Manulife Investment Management to join us. Rana, good to have you with us here. Thank you very much. You know, I was saying Teflon-coated markets here. That would be an apt description. You'd agree, Rana?
I don't know Teflon, but I think, when you look at the markets, you look at the earnings, you look at the valuation, and you look at the liquidity flows. It has to be said that earnings, particularly the domestic ones, the valuation and from a liquidity standpoint, the Indian equity markets, Nifty, as well as the broader markets, remain in a very solid footing. And that's why I think, to use your term, the Teflon coating, I think there are some negative noises coming from the global financial markets or in crude prices, but because of good earnings, valuations being more or less reasonable and good liquid conditions, those are being not ignored at the moment.
In fact, there is so much action coming in from retail investors, right, Rana? I mean, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Tuesday, when she addressed the media, she spoke about how the demat accounts have now hit 10 crores in India, and this is more than doubling in the last 4 years. So do you think that this equity cult, I mean, the strength that we're seeing from the domestic retail investors, something that can take India much higher from here? And in comparison to peers like China, do you think India can continue to outperform?
I think if you look at our structural view, I think we have been bullish on this domestic participation in Indian equities, starting from retail, HNI, and then promoters opening family offices. Whichever you look at it, I think the domestic flows to equity is something which we are very constructive about. And yes, this can be structural and take Indian markets a lot higher over a period of time. On your question about our performance versus China, overall structurally, I think there is a case to believe that Indian economy markets will grow at a faster than China. So I think one can look at that Indian markets, not just China, but even emerging markets, Indian markets could be one of the better performing markets. Our sense is that, as you were highlighting even before the show, that consensus among FIs is that structurally underweight China and structurally overweight India, but tactically uncertain. This just tells you, in the way we look at it, this just tells you that people want to buy India, but they are not fully in yet. So, from a FI perspective, also we think the liquidity flow over medium term should remain quite robust.
Hi, Rana. Good morning. I wanted to ask you about the Fed action. Overnight we had the labor cost as well that surprised on the upside. So data continues to remain strong. Do you think the Fed goes ahead and pushes through another rate hike? And I ask you this because I was looking at the Fed tool. It's suggesting that September we pause, but gradually at the start of this week for November, the odds were at 30%. That's moved to 45% that we get one more rate hike in November. Do you think so?
September was the best case. November, I think, as you're right, that November the odd for rate hike is beginning to rise. We will see how that pans out. But one thing we must emphasize, in fact, I highlighted this in last interaction as well. Let's go back to what you were discussing before the show, that China banning Apple phones, India banning import of laptop. All this, in the essence, are tariff and non-tariff barriers to encourage more domestic production. I think this fiscal and industrial policies that is happening over the globe, be it in US, be it in China, be it in India, is also a very important force. Yes, Fed policies and the interest rates are important, but I think we need to look at all these incentives given to manufacturing, which is bringing investment on the ground, which is creating jobs, and which is creating the economy overall resilient. In fact, this fiscal expansion is one of the reasons why US economy has remained resilient in spite of one of the fastest rate hikes that we have seen from the Fed. So I think this fiscal and industrial policy to encourage domestic production is something that has to be also given equal importance, if not more, as compared to the monetary policy that we always discuss.
All right, Rana, we leave it at that. Thanks a lot for joining in and appreciate your thoughts here on CNBC-TV18. That's the word coming in from Manulife Investment Management. They speak about how India has a long growth path from here on and, is one of the best performing markets and continues to be in the months to come. Let's slip into a